The starfield outside my ship shimmered like diamonds scattered across black velvet. I had been traveling through the uncharted sectors of the Andromeda Quadrant for weeks, following whispers of an undiscovered civilization rumored to possess technologies beyond human comprehension. My mission was simple, at least on paper. Make contact, establish trust, and document the first encounter with a species untouched by galactic politics. Easy, I thought, as I adjusted the navigation console. I never expected humor to be my first true test. The arrival. The planet, Arvithis, hung in space like a sapphire, its atmosphere a swirling mix of turquoise and violet clouds. Its surface sparkled with crystalline structures that caught the starlight like prisms. My ship descended cautiously, sensors scanning for life forms. They weren't human. They weren't even vaguely familiar. The readings suggested bioluminescent flora and fauna, atmospheric conditions suitable for sentient life, and a strange energy signature emanating from the planet's central palace. When I landed near the crystalline palace, I was greeted not by a guard, but by a figure floating above the ground. Her skin shimmered with iridescent hues, and her eyes glowed faintly gold. She was the embodiment of elegance, and yet she carried an aura of amusement. "Welcome, traveler," she said telepathically, her voice resonating directly in my mind. "I am Princess Livry of Arvithis. You may speak freely, but know that words here hold weight beyond your comprehension." Her presence was overwhelming. Every instinct screamed caution, yet curiosity pulled me forward. "I'm honored to meet you, Princess," I said, bowing awkwardly. "I'm Captain Adrian Hale, from the Terran Federation." Her eyes sparkled. "Captain, you humans have a peculiar way of approaching the unknown. I sense amusement. Do you make jokes often among your kind?" Sometimes," I replied nervously. "Depends on the situation." Livry tilted her head, the crystalline structures around us pulsing faintly as if responding to her curiosity. "Then perhaps try it. Let us see what your humor brings." The joke. I hesitated. Making a joke to an alien princess whose mind I barely understood seemed reckless. But humor had always been my tool to bridge gaps. "All right," I said, forcing a grin. "Why did the star go to school?" Livry raised an eyebrow, or what I interpreted as an eyebrow. "I do not know." "Why?" "Because it wanted to be a little brighter," I said, chuckling at my own pun. There was silence. A long, lingering pause. The kind that makes you question if you just accidentally insulted the entire planet. Then, unexpectedly, the princess laughed. Or at least, something like laughter. A cascade of musical tones emanating from her that resonated deep in my chest. "You amuse me," she said. "Most Terrans are painfully serious when meeting royalty." A wave of relief washed over me, though I had no idea if that amusement was positive or negative. The royal tour. To my astonishment, Livry invited me to tour the palace. It was a labyrinth of crystal corridors, floating staircases, and gardens that defied gravity. Every room was alive with colors and lights, each reflecting the emotions of the princess. I struggled to take notes fast enough, my human senses overwhelmed by the alien architecture and the subtle telepathic impressions that constantly brushed against my mind. "You humans are curious creatures," Livry said, guiding me through a hall filled with floating orbs of liquid light. "Your humor, it is strange, yet it carries truth. Tell me, Captain Hale, do you find laughter and fear in danger?" "I guess sometimes," I admitted. "It's a way to cope, to connect, to survive." She paused, letting my words settle in the air. Then, almost abruptly, she tilted her head toward me again. "Then perhaps you will understand the ritual of the ascension." The ritual. The ascension, I soon learned, was a ceremonial test every visitor of importance had to undergo. It involved navigating the Hall of Echoes, a chamber where one's thoughts and emotions were amplified, reflected, and examined by the palace itself. My mind raced as I stepped into the hall, the floor shifting beneath me like liquid crystal. Images from my life appeared in the reflections. My childhood on Earth, my first space mission, the moments I had laughed to hide fear. Then, unexpectedly, a projection of Lively herself appeared, and she mimicked my earlier joke. "Why did the star go to school?" it asked in perfect mimicry. I froze. This was no ordinary test. The palace had taken my words and used them against me, or maybe with me, because it wanted to be a little brighter, I said instinctively. The projection's laughter was like music again, but this time layered with an odd tension. You reveal yourself in humor. Few can navigate the hall so openly. It struck me then that my joke, trivial as it seemed, had shown more of my essence than 1,000 formal statements ever could. Lively's world judged truth not by facts, but by the authenticity behind actions. The revelation. When I emerged from the hall, my mind felt lighter, though a lingering sense of awe remained. Lively awaited me at the central chamber, her expression unreadable, but eyes alight with intrigue. "You humans often underestimate the power of humor," she said softly. "It carries honesty, vulnerability, courage." I swallowed. I never thought a joke could mean that much. She smiled, or rather, her facial structure shifted in a pattern that approximated a smile. "For you it did. And now you understand why my council hesitated before inviting Terrans." "Why?" I asked. "Because most humans cannot navigate the duality of our mind and palace. Few can be truthful without fear. You succeeded." A strange energy pulsed from the palace, and I felt a connection to the planet itself, to Lively. I realized then that our humor, our instincts, and our emotions could transcend species barriers in ways protocols never could. The test of loyalty. The true shock came afterward. Lively led me to the Orb of Veritas, a relic said to reveal the true intentions of anyone who touched it. My heart raced. Political advisors on Earth had warned me about alien relics, and yet I couldn't resist. When I placed my hand on the orb, it projected a vision, not of conquest, not of diplomacy, but of laughter. Me, telling jokes to creatures I couldn't begin to name, connecting through shared amusement. Then the vision shifted, Lively laughing, genuinely unguarded, at the simplest things I said. "You see," she said, voice calm but intense, "even royalty cannot mask truth forever. You have shown the essence of connection. That is far more valuable than treaties or weapons." Her words shocked me. All this time, I had expected politics, power plays, or danger. Instead, a joke, a single pun, had bridged a gap between worlds. The revelation of affection. In the days that followed, Lively became less a princess and more a companion, guiding me through her culture, teaching me the ways of her people, and laughing with abandon at things I thought were silly. Her reaction to my humor was not just amusement. It was recognition, a mirror of understanding. But with understanding came a revelation I hadn't anticipated. "Captain Hale," she said one evening as the twin moons of Arvathis rose, casting violet light across the palace, "you amuse me as no Terran has. Yet your humor conceals courage, and courage 'tis rare. I find myself drawn to it." I blinked. The weight of her words was staggering. I had anticipated diplomacy, curiosity, even cautious friendship, but affection from an alien princess, a being of immense power and wisdom that I had not seen coming. "Lively," I stammered. She held up a hand. "No words. Let the moment stand. But know this. Humor, courage, truth, they are bridges. And you, Captain, have built one between our worlds. The shocking ending. Weeks later, as my mission drew to a close, I prepared to leave Arvithis. I expected farewells, ceremonial goodbyes, maybe even a formal treaty signing. What I did not expect was Livery standing at the edge of the landing platform, eyes glowing with an intensity one had never seen. "Captain Hale," she said, voice calm but firm, "you may leave Arvithis, but know this. The bridge you built is not easily forgotten. Your humor, your courage, your truth, they are etched into our world, into me." I stepped toward the ship, a lump in my throat. "Princess, She raised her hand. "One last test," she said, a faint smile forming. "Make me laugh." I laughed, nervously at first, then boldly, telling a joke I hadn't even known I remembered from my childhood. Livery's laughter rang out across the crystalline spires, echoing into the sky. And then she did something no one had anticipated. She reached out, her hand hovering inches from mine. A surge of energy passed between us, a silent acknowledgement that this connection, born from something as simple as a joke, was more binding than any law, treaty, or expectation. "You have shocked me, Captain," she said softly. "Not with war, not with cunning, but with laughter. Remember this, should our worlds meet again." As the ship lifted off, I looked back at the glowing princess, the surreal beauty of Arvithis beneath her feet, and realized the truth. Sometimes, the simplest actions, the smallest jokes, could create the most profound connections. And in that moment, I understood the weight of what humor could carry, not just amusement, but empathy, courage, and even love across the stars.